All right, so welcome to the February meeting of the FairTV Commission. We have 3 members here. That's a quorum, so we can begin. We can begin with the sort of the chair's remarks, which maybe we can talk a bit about the minutes that we realized we probably missed a step in not circulating the minutes with the agenda. So we're going to make sure that happens going forward so that everybody has them, so that if we vote on them, you've already had them, which would make sense. So apologies, I dropped the ball on that part of putting the agenda together and getting the meetings set up. But we're here on WebEx, and that seems to be working. And other than that, if you read the manager's report, Jerry was talking about the budget process, and that we had, we're expected to go before the Board of Selectmen to answer questions about the Fair TV budget proposal. At this point, we haven't actually been scheduled to do that, so I don't know if that will happen or not. We did, I guess, since our last meeting, have a meeting with the first select woman and her team to sort of present that budget, proposed budget, and they asked a few questions, and that was that. So more to be revealed on that. And see if there's anything else. Jerry, if I don't know if he emailed everybody, but he said he's not going to attend tonight. So that makes for a possibly much less entertaining meeting. There's Anne Marie. Which is great. So yeah, that's all I had. And I don't think our vice chairman is here. So is there a secretary's report to be had?
My only report is that I realize that we've been voting on minutes that maybe not everybody has been reading. So I just brought it to Mark's attention, and we will do a better job at getting those minutes circulated so everyone, not just Mark and me, are reading them. So that's it. I just had a quick question. So the meeting that you and Jerry actually went and met in front of Brenda, is that right?
Right. And the budget, the town budget group. I can't remember exactly the individuals that were there, but it was her team that is putting together her budget that she puts before. That's the whole process that begins. And the first sort of place that it goes to a vote is to the Board of Selectmen. And so that process is being scheduled. But we have not been, told that there is a time when, we're expected to be there to sort of answer any questions they may have. But that could happen.
And so the meeting was pretty uneventful. I mean, you basically sort of just went through and then a couple questions back and forth, and then that was it.
Yeah, no, nothing, no indication one way or another what they thought, other than this is what we had voted on. And Jerry talked a little bit about the idea of having a sort of a full-time staffer as opposed to sort of cobbling together the freelancers as has been done. And so we'll see what happens.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can move to approve the minutes if you're comfortable doing so.
Um, Well, they are in your email now. If you just want to like take a quick breeze by, technically, because Anne Marie wasn't at the last meeting, she has to abstain from voting on the minutes anyway. So it would be fine for just the 3 of us to vote on them.
Yeah, I saw them in the email, and I'm happy to put forth a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, excellent.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes unanimously. So we don't have a manager's report to hear. If you read through what Jerry sent, pretty short manager's report this month. I don't know if anybody has any questions, and if you do, I don't know that I can answer them. But was there any concerns or questions about what Jerry had said?
I just had one question. Jerry had sent a link, it looked like a Facebook link, about somebody who was in support of, I don't know. When I clicked on the link, it didn't work. He said something about, let's see if I can get it. Oh, he must be talking about, yeah, public access legislation. He sent a note.
Right, right. Yes, I remember that.
Markey has been a longtime supporter of public access TV. I don't know if that link just doesn't exist anymore. I didn't have access to it, but I couldn't read whatever the link
Right.
was that he sent.
Yep. And I honestly, I read the email and meant to go back to it, and I forgot. So we can check and then bring that up with Jerry.
Okay.
And one other thing, it could come up under unfinished business, but we've talked about that the Cable Advisory Council for Area 2, which Jerry said, typically we've had a member from the FairTV Commission who is on that council. I'd done some looking around trying to figure that out, and a lot of the presence of the council online, at least the one that's linked through the town website, is very dated. The officers date, the last time the page was updated was 2015. It looks like there was a meeting in 2021, but I'm not real clear on the best way to go forward on that without sort of knowing if they're having meetings, not planning to have meetings. So I mean, leave it to you guys if you want to make a motion about that or not. But I was sort of not sure what the best step would be, not having connected with them to know, should we vote on somebody? And then if we did, what would that person do? Not knowing when meetings are happening, and sort of difficult to, at least from what I was able to find, difficult to determine kind of what's happening with that group.
I mean, I think that we should maybe put it off until there's something that's a bit more solid, without having a meeting on a schedule on the books or any type of structure for that group.
Right.
It seems weird to have somebody in the wings until we really know more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought perhaps I can take it on to try and email the last person who's the chair, and find out kind of what's going on, so that if we should be naming somebody, or we will, but yeah, it didn't help. It didn't give me a lot of clarity, the research that I did sort of just online. So we can try and track down the actual officers there at Area 2 and figure that out. So we'll put that in, keep that in unfinished business, I guess.
Okay.
I can bring up one other thing that came up with Jerry, and then this is just sort of an for your information kind of thing. I guess Jerry has been purchasing insurance. What do you call it? Liability insurance, covering the freelancers in case anybody gets injured or injures somebody while doing work for Fair TV, and the town has been reimbursing him. He raised that as far as doing it again, and we checked with the town attorney, and he said, yeah, you have to have that, and yes, the town will reimburse. They put it that they were going to check with the town's insurance carrier to see if there was a way to sort of incorporate it that way or not. But just to let you all know that conversation happened in the past month, and no real conclusion to it other than, yeah, well, this is something that has to happen, and it should happen, and it's Jerry's not going to be forced to pay for it himself. That's obviously not going to happen. So when we know more about whether he just continues to do what he has been doing on his own and getting reimbursed, or whether the town has a way that they prefer that it be done, we'll hopefully find out. And that's all I can think of from the past month, other than, hello, new commissioner. Welcome. How are you?
How's everybody tonight?
We're doing all right. We're doing
Good,
all right.
thanks.
Good to have you here. A little different meeting because our production manager is not attending tonight, and Jerry is usually the most entertaining part of the show and has the most information about what's going on at FairTV. It was just a kick to actually get to sort of spend some time with him in person at our meeting at Town Hall. And but yeah, he's not here tonight, but he'll be back next month. Is there any other unfinished business that we haven't talked about? All right then. Any new business? No. No. One thing I did, I'll throw another one on the for the back of your mind. I think this came up when we were talking about the budget process, and I know I talked to Jerry about it when we met together, and I think we may have mentioned it at the last meeting. This idea of, do we have any sense of, who's watching, how they're watching? I get a sense of, not necessarily how we're doing, but are we putting our priorities in the right places? And at some point, we may want to sort of formally ask Jerry to produce a report to that effect. So that's something to think about. We can maybe bring that up when he's here as to what that might look like. But I think it's probably a good idea for us to have that sort of information, if not as a sort of a regular process of, reporting to the commission. At least we could get a snapshot of where it's at, just so we know.
Yeah, and maybe we should vote on doing something where there's sort of like it should, to me, it feels like it should at least be once a year that we kind of do a reevaluation of what's the viewership look like, who's watching, what are the numbers, are they up or down from last year or something. I mean, there seems to be, even just for a point of information for the commissioners to understand, it should be, and I don't know if we have bylaws. I don't really know like what the governing body of the FairTV Commission is, but to me, it seems like that should sort of be a standard protocol.
I think maybe that's what we should think on between now and the next meeting, because one of the other things that Jerry and I talked about just briefly in the hallway after our meeting with the first selectwoman was it has sort of long been a topic of discussion on the commission to change the charter of FairTV so that we have the ability to create programming that today we're restricted from doing so because of something that was written into the charter, or whatever the right word for it is, that says, we can't do anything partisan. That a lot of the events that happen in town often have, elected officials there, and it becomes sort of, can we cover this? Can we not cover this? If it's not a parade, what are we allowed to do? So maybe we should all, I will ask Jerry to give us all a copy of that charter so that we can look through it, get an idea of what the language actually does say, and any areas that we want to think about the process of revising. And I know there's a process to that. I don't know it off the top of my head what it is, but that's something that we can take up, not just to maybe built in sort of an annual audience report, but also, is it time to loosen that particular restriction so that we could do more things or have some flexibility, especially if the budget is approved and there's a sort of a staffer, an additional staffer who, depending on the the needs of meetings may have time to work on something, as opposed to a freelancer who comes in because of a certain, whatever number of meetings. There may be room for that person to do things that are a little bit more creative. So that may be a good thing for us to start talking about.
Yeah. That's good.
Sounds great.
Cool. Well, all right. It's good to catch up. It's good to meet Anne-Marie. I don't have anything else, unless anyone else does.
Nope.
Not a-
All right. Well, we will get you into the swing of things. We're glad to see you tonight, and glad you're feeling better. And with that, I will make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So that passes, and we will meet again in March. And until then, have a great month.
You too.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Good night.